live by using the words I, me, my, myself. Okay, so here we go.
Yeah, I'd like to say that thinking and reflection could be at a very elementary level. This is not high level. This is very, very high level for the simple reason it shakes you of all your beliefs
Takes me.
or
Use the word me.
unreflected things. Like, for example, when he says thought and thinking, one has never thought that the two are, away from each other. But here he's bringing about a great distinction between thought and thinking, and he's giving it to you with a concrete example of how much money one wants to make. So this, taking a very simple example which applies to most people if not all, he's trying to really shake you from your past beliefs. Thank you.
Did it shake you also from your past beliefs?
Sorry.
Did it shake you also from your past belief?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah. So share in terms of I, me, my, myself. Don't talk about
Okay,
how it is happening to
it
others.
okay. So it has shaken me in terms of my past beliefs, in terms of, I always thought that thought and thinking do go together. One is a part of the other. But here the author is trying to tell me or teach me that what I am thinking is wrong. My thoughts are very different. And when I start thinking, I invariably bring in negativity or uncertainties or uncontrollable factors. But added to all that, I still feel that having good ideas or thoughts is the basic necessity which takes a person forward in terms of progress, innovation. But thinking, why is the author stressing only on the negativities? I could look at positivity in terms of planning and bring about a better life or thought for myself. That's what I think. Thank you.
Hmm. That's interesting. In fact, what author is talking about is that as long as it is like thinking is an outcome of your two basic instincts. One is survival, another one is fear. Then it is not good for you. So you have to be very careful. This is what he's saying in all the three, four chapters. That the thinking is an outcome of survival or fear, then definitely it's not going to do much good for you and me. So when I was reading this book and I was focusing my attention, I only asked myself that the thinking that I'm having right now, the observation was all about that is it an outcome of my survival or fear? If the answer is yes, then definitely it's a negative thought, क्योंकि मैं अपने आप को बचाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ या किसी के सामने मैं अपने आप को ऐसे पोजीशन करने का कोशिश कर रहा हूँ that other person must agree with whatever I am saying. So that is the catch point which I discover for myself.
Yes, fine. I 100% agree with what you say, but I still feel that can I not survive? I think of survival not as a negativity, but I look at survival in terms of arguments, situations, people, everything in a very positive manner. Here I get more energy. So that could be positive.
Yeah, that's what Joseph is talking about. That as long as it is not connected with your survival or connected with your safety or connected with your fear, then it's good for you. So that is where I need to observe that exactly what this thinking is leading me to, or what is the what I am thinking this way, why I am thinking this way. If the thinking is all about that I have to prove myself to the world that I am a good person, I'm a better person, and the other people have to agree to me. That means whatever I'm saying or what I'm thinking right now is an outcome of my fear or my safety. अगले बंदे को मुझे मेरे साथ बस अप्रूव होना चाहिए, एग्री करना चाहिए. अगर नहीं करे तो देन इट इज नॉट समथिंग गुड फॉर मी. लाइक माय ईगो इज प्लेइंग अ की रोल इन दैट केस. अगर ऐसा नहीं है, then it's definitely good for you and me. That's what he is talking about.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So he's not saying the thinking is bad. He's saying if the thinking is an outcome of this, like right now, say whatever I am saying now, if I want to prove my point, and if I always look for that, okay, both of you must agree to me that whatever I am saying. then
हाँ.
it is an outcome of a fear or a survival instinct. और
Yeah.
अगर ऐसा नहीं है कि चलो ठीक है मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है मैंने बोला, आपको क्या लग रहा है
Hmm.
आप बताइए, and I am
Hmm.
not attaching myself with your meaning making or I am not attaching myself with
हाँ, हाँ,
my
हाँ.
meaning making, then it's definitely good.
Hmm. 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 Agreed. Yeah.
Good. Yes. So Pallavi, have you started reading this book?
No, to be truth, no.
अभी तक नहीं. Okay. Good. So you start reading this book. बहुत अच्छी किताब है. So I
Yes,
will
I
wait
was
for some
going
people
through
to
the
join in.
sharing
So,
it. I found it to be very nice. Yeah.
mm. See, this book is not about feeling very nice. This book is all about discovering yourself. So, like this is one of those books just जिसके साथ feeling nice का कोई दूर दूर तक संपर्क नहीं है. It's not about feeling nice, feeling better, feeling awesome. Nothing like that. It's all about what you are discovering about yourself. That discovery should be astonishing. That discovery should be amazing. That is the purpose of this particular book. ये ऐसे किताबें क्या है? These books are like one in 1,000 or maybe one in a million. जहाँ पे it has been written in such a way so that it provokes you to think that how life could be if this is true. जैसे मैं
Yeah.
एक सवाल सबको पूछता हूँ in my all my trading sessions that with this new awareness, what do you see possible for yourself now? So this is one such book that it invokes you, either it motivates you, it encourages you, inspires you to think that is it how I my brain is designed? Do I exactly do that? Do I also think that way? And if the answer is yes, then how that thought or that process I can alter, I can make a change, I can bring a change into it so that that makes my life even better than whatever I am experiencing right now. So this is that kind of book. Yesterday in the group I shared about the author, what he's doing these days. And I have my own group जहाँ पे I am working on a project, I would call it, which I say 21 question 25 weeks. और वहाँ पे मैंने एक ये सवाल पूछा था कि ये जो ऑथर के बारे में जो दो मैसेज आई डिस्कवर्ड फ्रॉम टू सोर्सेस, वन इज हिज ओन वेबसाइट and the other one is from this particular book. So the moment you read this, what comes to your mind? I just requested each of them to write about it in that group. कि आपको immediately क्या thought आ रहा है? And you just write it down in the group. Incidentally, nobody wrote it, though many people have read those messages. So let me share what I thought when I read these two resources about the author. The first thought that came to my mind is, okay, let me share that screen so that I can also connect you with that, and then we'll move towards reading the book because I was expecting some more people to join in. Now,
Normally, Rajkumar sir is the joins quite early.
so
Yeah, the long life sir, Rajkumar sir, 150 years. I just thought of you and you're there.
Thank you, Manglaji. Your
And not just long life, 1 minute. Healthy, wealthy, and a long life. That's what is important. Quality of life is very, very important.
मैं तो
so
अभी डांस कर रहा हूँ एंड विथ योर विशेज आई एम डांसिंग इन द स्काई
Yeah.
ऊपर ऊपर जाता जा रहा हूँ.
Can I start reading?
now this is the message I shared where I said that like what this website where the author is talking about himself on his own website. Now this is exactly what is said. That Joseph Nguyen is the author of number one international best-selling book, Don't Believe Everything You Think, which has been translated into 31 plus languages. Now this book he wrote, it was first published in the month of March 2022. Okay. There was a precise date, probably it was 28th March when it was first published, or 14th March, something like that. And then its paperback came up in the month of November 2022. Okay, so first it was the ebook version, then the paperback was in November. Now, imagine the year which happened after, say, this book is being published. Even the paperback was published. Almost within 2.5 years, this book sold millions of copies. It became a number one bestseller on New York Times bestseller list. Okay. Now read the second two paragraphs. The next paragraph is he's a writer who helps others realize who they truly are beyond their own thinking and conditioning to live an abundant life free from psychological and emotional suffering. Okay, this is what he does. He is written about himself. And then he wrote, when he is not busy petting his three cats that he is allergic to, he spends the rest of his time writing, teaching, speaking, and sharing timeless wisdom to help people discover their own divinity from within and how they are the answer they have been looking for their entire lives. Now imagine this is the lifestyle this person is enjoying on this earth. हम में से कितने लोग ये लाइफस्टाइल एंजॉय कर रहे हैं? Just imagine. So when I read this chapter about read this page about him, there was a second page also which he wrote in the current book. In the current book, the first page of the book, the print वाला जो book है, उसमें सबसे पहला पेज यही है. You just turn the cover and this is the first page where it is printed. This message is printed. There is a spiritual thought leader who has a mission of helping others realize their divine purpose, unlock the infinite potential of their own mind, and live an abundant life, free from psychological suffering. He spends most of his time writing, coaching, teaching, speaking, and sharing timeless wisdom to help people discover their own divinity from within and how they themselves are the answer they have been looking for throughout their lives. Just imagine how much time he may be spending on this activity every day. Now, what message which I picked up from reading these two uh, reading these two passage or this message from his own book and from his website is very simple. See, if you really want to live your life without worrying about money, then this is possible just by authoring a book. And he travels around the world like nothing. You can't even imagine the way he travels around the world. And he's very young. So I am inviting you to look into this from a different perspective altogether. कि अगर चाहो तो आप भी ये कर सकते हो. Ask yourself that what you are doing throughout the day. Are you doing any of these? So I ask myself that am I doing any of these? Even before reading the book.
In simple words, like, those around me, when I was in my growing stage, they used to tell me, do something constructive every day, constructive and innovative. Now, this innovative or constructive was more in terms of, doing something in terms of action. But the author is now telling me do something constructive and innovative in a mental manner, psychological manner, where my emotions are in control of myself. So, this shift from physical activity to psychological and philosophical thought is what the author has brought about in me. And I think that is the greatest innovation and not change, I would call it transformation. Change is just shift from one to the other, but the author is trying to transform me totally by saying your thoughts till today were not on the right track. So now here, stop here. It's like when you're traveling, there is a check post. So here is a check post where he's trying to tell me, stop, think. And now, if you feel, move ahead in life. Or just transform your own life and lead a better life so that there is more emotional and psychological control of myself. Thank you.
Hmm. Okay, so let's start reading.
Yes, I'll do it. Happily.
And we'll just read one page per person.
Yes, sir.
This is very important, okay? And read slowly, you don't need to rush.
Yes, sir.
And let's go ahead.
Chapter 5. If we can only feel what we are thinking, don't we need to think positively to feel that way? We are ever only one thought away from peace, love, and joy, which came from a state of no thought. Dickon Mettinger. This is a caveat that I have mentioned yet to the principle that we can only feel what we are thinking. We can only feel what we are thinking. The more accurate way of describing it is that we can only ever feel negative emotions when we are thinking. The goal isn't necessarily to completely stop feeling negative emotions. Some of the negative emotions can be helpful, such as feeling fearful when deciding to walk down a dark alley alone with no one else in sight. These negative emotions are only helpful to us in terms of survival, but if we don't constantly encounter life or death situations, negative emotions are more unhelpful than helpful for most of us. We are going to be moving forward with the
Let
context
somebody
that,
else read it.
okay, sorry.
Yeah. So who would like to take up? Pallavi, go ahead.
We are going, good morning, everyone. We are going to be moving forward with the content that we are not struggling for physical survival, or we will be using the context that negative emotions are not necessary most of the time. When I mentioned that we are only ever feel, sorry, when I mentioned that we can only ever feel that we are thinking, most people assume that we must think positive to feel positive emotions. Instead of convincing you if this is true or not, let's do another thought experiment so you can experience the truth for yourself. Recall a time when you felt the most joy and love you have ever felt in your life and feel the feeling that you feel at that time as much as you can for at least 30 seconds. What kinds of thoughts were going through your mind at that peak moment when you felt the most joy and love? I am I am not asking what you were doing at that time, but what thoughts were going through your head at that exact moment. For many people, that answer is this: they realized that they didn't have any thoughts during that exact moment. For others, they say that the thoughts was that they were so grateful or happy. For those that answered that they had the thought that they were grateful, did not feel that joy and love before you had that thought or after. Take 10 to 15 seconds to answer that question before moving on. Thank you so much.
So think about this. For those that answered that they had the thought that they were grateful, did you feel that joy and love before you had that thought or after? So,
Yeah, first is the
okay, so now let's go ahead. Next. Yes, sir. Dr. Rajkumar, please go ahead.
Yeah. What insights and epiphanies did you have? What is crazy is that the most people did not have any thoughts going through their mind when they felt the happiest and the most amount of love in their lives. For those that had the thought that they were grateful, they felt that way before having that thought. If they had that thought, it happened after they felt the feeling. So the thought could not have produced the feeling. This brings us to another truth. You do not have to have thoughts or think to feel positive emotions. The beautiful part about truth is that it needs no justification because it can be experienced right here, right now. It does not need to be proven or rationalized to you, and you experience this truth firsthand by the experiment we just did. Here is why we don't need to have thoughts or think to feel positive emotions like joy and love. Our natural state of being is joy, love, ecstasy, freedom, and gratitude. This may be hard to believe because if it is natural, why don't we feel that way all the time? I will answer this in a bit. If we want to see the natural state of anything, one of the best ways is to look at nature and the state of it in its infancy before it is affected and conditioned by its environment. For example, let us look at the natural state of a baby. What is a baby's natural and default state? Assuming the baby was not abused, neglected, or had any physical issues. Are babies naturally stressed, anxious, fearful, and self conscious? Or are they naturally in a state of bliss, happiness, and love?
Thank you, sir. Yes, Nilesh, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Our natural state of being is joy, love, and peace. Therefore, any thinking that we do will only take us away from those natural states of being, which is why whenever we feel extremely stressed, we are having a lot of thinking going on. The strength of the negative emotion we feel is in direct proportion to how much thinking we are doing in the moment. On the other hand, the intensity of the positive emotion we feel is inversely proportional to the amount of thinking we are doing in the moment. In other words, the less thinking we have going on, the stronger the positive emotion we feel in the present. To see the truth in this, recall a few other memories you had you were when then recall a few memories where you were at your happiest or felt the most joy and love, and see how much thinking you had going on at that time. Take another 1 2 minutes to do this before moving on to really experience and internalize the truth of what you see. An analogy that my coach taught me that helped crystallize in this crystallize this concept was to imagine our mind has a speedometer like in a car, but instead of miles per hour, it is thoughts per minutes. The more thinking we have going on, the higher the thought meter goes. And if we have enough thinking going on, it will go into the red zone. This is when we feel extremely stressed, burnout, frustrated, and angry. It is not the content of our thinking that causes us stress, but that we are thinking, period. The amount of thinking we have going on is directly correlated to the magnitude of stress and negative emotions we are experiencing at any given moment. When you are experiencing a lot of frustration, stress, anxiety, or any negative emotion, just know that it is because you are thinking, and the intensity of those emotions is directly correlated to how much thinking is going on.
Thank you. Yes, Rajeshwari, you can go ahead from here.
Therefore, it's not what we are thinking about that is causing us suffering, but that we are thinking. To summarize, we don't have to try to think positive to experience love, joy, bliss, and any positive emotion we want because it is our natural state to feel those emotions. The only times we don't naturally feel these emotions is when we begin to think about the thoughts we are having, thus blocking the direct connection to infinite intelligence, and we feel stressed, anxious, depressed, and fearful. It is not about the content of our thinking, what that we are thinking. This is the root cause of our suffering. The intensity of the negative emotion is directly correlated to the amount of thinking we have going on in the present. The less thinking we have, the more space we create for positive emotion to naturally surface.
Wow. So let's have some discussion on this. So Rajeshwari, you can start the discussion.
What could I understand? Whatever the time I was here, as some disturbance were there. So I understood that our natural, uh, we are blessed with the natural emotions like bliss, joy, happiness.
Replace
Uh,
B with I.
yes, our my natural state is that. Sir, for a second, just let me, if any
Hmm.
one can discuss.
Hello.
Just observe what you are thinking during this moment of pause. Actually
Yep.
observe all the thinking that you are doing.
Actually, no thoughts in mind right now.
Okay, so you can share like आपको क्या लग रहा है ये पैराग्राफ पढ़ के ये पैसेज पढ़ के चैप्टर पढ़ के. Yes, Nilesh, you can go ahead.
I understand our natural state of mind is thinking negative. So whatever uh, we think is negative, so we should think less. Like in a car, there is a speedometer. In our mind also, there is a thoughts per minutes is speedometer. So हम जितना इसको कम से कम थिंकिंग करेंगे तो उतना हमारे माइंड में कम थॉट्स नेगेटिव थॉट्स आएंगे.
Mhm.
I would just like to say that thoughts of the past or linked to reflection give me a lot of positive lessons which I should learn to bring about awareness and improvement. But when I have thoughts of the future, then unknowingly that uncertainty of the future brings about negativity, and it's not, and that is, I think, is the problem. So when I think of the future, in me, my first thought is positive. For example, I want to go abroad. I'm giving a simple example, it is positive. But when I start thinking about it and reflecting about it, then only the negativity starts coming in. So, of the past, thoughts are reflection, awareness, lessons to learn. And so far as future is concerned, I think my first thought is positive, and then thinking brings about the negativity because there is uncertainty. But if future is certain, I think it will bring about positivity. Thank you.
Mhm. Good. See, this paragraph itself beautifully summarizes the chapter. You know, we do not have to try to think positive to experience joy, love, bliss, and any positive emotions we want, because it is our natural state to feel these emotions. The only times we don't naturally feel these emotions is when we begin to think about the thoughts we are having, thus blocking the direct connection to infinite intelligence, and we feel stressed, anxious, depressed, and fearful. Actually, think that what is going on in your brain right now. That's why he was referring to past events. Okay, whenever you were going through such state of happiness, joy, bliss, or positive emotions, just ask yourself, did you think about them? Okay, oh wow, I should be enjoying this moment. I should be expressing my love. I should be experiencing feel bliss. And let me look for all the positive emotions. क्या हम ऐसा करते हैं? क्या हमने किया है? So he says this is the natural state. हम ऐसे ही हैं. जब हम ऐसे emotions experience नहीं करते हैं, that is the moment when we get into that process of thinking. Thinking blocks experiencing love, joy, bliss, or any positive emotion at any given point of time. Now, what he's also suggesting at the same time is कि आपको मानने की जरूरत नहीं है मैं जो कह रहा हूँ. You don't need to agree with me. You just go back, do those activities that he suggested, the four activities that he suggested. One is thinking about one positive event, something that a big achievement for you, and exactly what you were doing after that. So he said that recall a time when you felt the most joy and love you have ever felt in your life, and feel the feelings that you felt at that time as much as you can for at least 30 seconds. So he is suggesting us to go back there. For example, like the moment I read this, the first thought that came to my mind was my class 10 results. So I was actually thinking that moment, okay, the moment I got to know that this was my score, this is my result, what all I was feeling at that point of time. And I could still remember that I was spellbound, but I didn't even thought that शायद ऐसा हो सकता है, या शायद उस टाइम पे कुछ थॉट था ही नहीं. It was a spellbound moment, like wow moment. Like most of these wow moments are thinking less moments. Like you cannot express that experience, that perception that you're experiencing at that point of time. It is just a feeling which cannot be expressed. It's just felt like delivering a baby. When you ladies, you delivered your baby, probably you went through that same experience. लेकिन आपका एक्सपीरियंस और उस टाइम पे जो बंदा फादर बना, उन दोनों का एक्सपीरियंस अलग है. But those moments, those first 30 seconds, how was those moments? That's what the author is suggesting to think about. And that's why he said that for many people that answered this, whatever answer they gave, they realized that they didn't have any thought during that exact moment. For others, they say that the thought was that they were so grateful or happy. So if there had been only one thought at that point of time, probably that thought is that all of a sudden you are feeling grateful, you are feeling happy. Like you felt like connected to that infinite intelligence, connected to God, that particular moment. And since you got connected to God, you cannot think of anything else. You are only experiencing the bliss, the joy, the happy moments which you are going through at that point of time. Then he suggested another activity that for those who answered that they had the thought that they were grateful, did you feel that joy and love before you had that thought or after? कब हुआ, पहले हुआ या after हुआ? Just suggesting that you think that particular moment when you are experiencing those beautiful moments of positivity, those were an outcome of feeling grateful, or those were preceded and later you felt grateful. He said just take 10 to 15 seconds to answer that question before moving on. So he is also suggested at the same time ज़्यादा सोचने की जरूरत नहीं, just 10 से 15 सेकंड सोचो that what made you feel that way. What thought was there the moment you were in that state? You got to know about that news, or you just got that message that this is what happened. What happened after that? And what insights and epiphanies did you have? What's crazy is that most people didn't have any thoughts going through their mind when they felt the happiest and the most amount of love in their lives. I can connect easily with pregnancy, these states of minds. The moment you discovered, oh, I am pregnant, or your wife is pregnant, what thought came to your mind? Just go back and think. उस टाइम मेरे दिमाग में क्या थॉट आया होगा which led to my feeling over next 30 seconds. Just during that moment when I got to know about this for the first time, or maybe some death in a family, you just got to know about somebody expired. At that moment, just go back and ask yourself that what you were thinking. So this brings us to another truth that you do not have to have thoughts or think to feel positive emotions. Whenever you and I experience positive emotions, probably we didn't even think about that. At the moment it was not that, then it is an outcome of your thinking about the thought that followed that thinking. And the beautiful part about truth is that it needs no justification because it can be experienced right here, right now. It doesn't need to be proven or rationalized to you. And you experience this truth firsthand by the experiment we just did. Here is why we don't need to have thoughts or think to feel positive emotions like joy and love. Our natural state of being is joy, love, ecstasy, freedom, and gratitude. ये हमारा natural state है. This may be hard to believe because if it is natural, why don't we feel that way all the time? Then he suggested look at the natural state of a baby. What is a baby's natural and default state? You can actually practice this throughout today. Just look at babies. If you can't see physical babies, look at videos of babies. Then you observe that uska natural state kya hai. There are many beautiful and mesmerizing videos of babies all over the internet. So he is saying our natural state of being is joy, love, and peace. This is our natural state of being. By default हम ऐसे ही हैं. Therefore, any thinking that we do will only take us away from those natural states of being. Which is why whenever we feel extremely stressed, we are having a lot of thinking going on. The strength of the negative emotion we feel is in direct proportion to how much thinking we are doing in that moment. You know, this is one paragraph that can transform you if you just read it whenever you want to read it. Maybe once in a day, maybe twice in a day, maybe you can just put some alarm that over next 1 week I'll just read this chapter at 11 o'clock, for example, and then at 3 o'clock. कुछ नहीं, मेरा खाली काम है इसको पढ़ना. Just this one paragraph. And just think about the previous 3 4 hours, what you did, what kind of activities which happened, what kind of thoughts were there, and how your thinking made you feel joy, ecstatic, love and peace at that point of time or not. उसका प्रेजेंस आपने महसूस किया या एब्सेंस महसूस किया. And if you experience the absence, then you can ask yourself, okay, why so? What I was thinking that didn't allow me to being in a state of joy, love, and peace. So on the other hand, the intensity of the positive emotion we feel is inversely proportional. Ulta hai. When you're experiencing positive emotion, it is inversely proportional to the amount of thinking we are doing in the moment. Just think of buying anything. आपको जरूरत नहीं है लेकिन फिर भी आपने खरीद लिया. So when you are making some such purchases, those are the moments when you are actually enjoying those moments. Then you are not even thinking about कि इसकी मेरी जरूरत है भी या नहीं. And then probably after buying it, you all of a sudden you started feeling नहीं लेता तो अच्छा था. But now many other thoughts are coming up. This is something I noticed because I have three ladies in my family, three young ladies, my wife and my two daughters. So they are like fanatic about shopping. कहीं भी घूमने जाते हैं कुछ ना कुछ उनको खरीदना होता है kind of thing. And when they buy it after they come back home, मैं देखता हूँ उस टाइम पे बहुत excited रहते हैं. When they come back home, then we just put it on maybe our center table in the living room. और कभी कभी मैंने देखा वो वहीं पे 2 दिन से पड़ा रहा होता है. It is just lying there. And then you open it and then you start thinking about it कि आप मैं इसको लेके क्या करूँ, कहाँ रखूँ, wardrobe में जगह भी है या नहीं, उसके लिए जगह बनाना. And then you open your wardrobe and you discover नहीं लेता तो अच्छा होता. I just like the color. So all these are outcome of the thinking after you made that purchase. You'll find people like particularly guys, boys, जो लोग vehicle खरीदते हैं, गाड़ी खरीदते हैं. In the moment you buy your car, उस time you are very happy about it. You are so excited, and you start thinking about it after you have that car. Now you are thinking कि इसको मैं घर जाके कहाँ पे पार्क करूँ, कौन से रास्ते से लेके जाऊँ. And when it's a new car, you are extremely cautious while driving. आसपास से जो भी जा रहा है ना लग रहा है कि ये मेरे को ठोक ना दे, कभी कोई स्क्रैच ना आ जाए. And then you reach home. आप उसको इतना ध्यान से देखते हो सारा दिन, maybe for next 2 3 days. जैसे आपने आपके घर में कौन आ गया, and you're so careful about it. Now I see it because I am staying in a society और यहाँ पे हर दिन कोई ना कोई नया गाड़ी खरीदता है. And I observe what happens. दिन में 2 3 बार नीचे आके देखेगा गाड़ी गाड़ी सही है कि नहीं, जहाँ पे पार्क किया है वहां पे कुछ हुआ कि नहीं. इवन द गाय हु कम्स टू वॉश द कार, वो कार वॉश करने के बाद भी बंदा जाके देखता है कहीं कोई स्क्रैच तो नहीं आ गया. सो नाउ यू आर वरीड दैट व्हाट विल हैपन व्हेन दिस गाय विल कम एंड ही विल वॉश योर कार, क्योंकि वो तो हर दिन और भी 20 कार वॉश कर रहा है. दिस इज व्हाट ऑथर इज टॉकिंग अबाउट. So again, he came up with these wonderful experiments or action activities to see the truth in this. Recall a few other memories you had when you were extremely stressed and anxious, and see how much thinking was going on at that time. See, this is the only reason when some another vehicle brushes your car, you just become furious. Many of us we become furious. ये हिम्मत कैसे हुआ, दिख नहीं रहा है, दूर से दूर डिस्टेंस रख के गाड़ी नहीं चला सकता. आप रोड पे उतरे हो, कुछ हो ही सकता है. Nobody wants to meet with an accident, but फिर भी accidents होता है. Many of the times these accidents are emotional rather than physical. फिजिकल इतना इंटेंसिटी नहीं है जितना उसको उसका इम्पैक्ट इमोशनली होता है. And then he said, take about 1 to 2 minutes to do this. That whenever went to that moment of stress and anxiety, उसके पीछे थिंकिंग क्या था, 1 से 2 मिनट सोचिए कि एक्चुअली इवेंट क्या हुआ था, देन व्हाट हैपेंड, व्हाट काइंड ऑफ थिंकिंग वेयर फॉलोड, एंड इवेंचुअली व्हाट मेड यू get into that state of extreme stress and anxiety. And then he said, then recall a few memories where you were at your happiest or felt the most joy and love, to see how much thinking you had going on at that time. आप कहीं वैकेशन में गए and you just reached the airport. So reaching the moment you reach the airport, आपकी गाड़ी जो भी है, whether it's your own private car or whether you're taking a taxi, the moment it stopped outside the airport or outside the railway station, imagine those moments for first 30 seconds. And then you're getting down from your car, from that car, you open the dicky, you take out your luggage, and then all the thinking followed. अब इस लगे तुम्हें कैसे रखूं, अभी कूली आएगा उसके साथ बार्गेन करना पड़ेगा, एयरपोर्ट में आई नीड टू लुक फॉर दैट स्ट्रॉली, एंड देन यू एक्चुअली लुक अराउंड, भाई स्ट्रॉली कहाँ पे है, दिख नहीं रहा है. यू गेट फ्रैंटिक, स्ट्रॉली नहीं दिख रहा यार, तो हाउ विल आई पुल दिस लगेज. एंड देन यू टेक सम टाइम टू फाइंड आउट दैट स्ट्रॉली, है ना. ड्राइवर को पेमेंट करना होता है. ऑब्जर्व व्हाट हैपेंस. The moment the payment is done, again you are happy. Payment होगा, चलो now I'm feeling happy. Then for 30 seconds you stay into that state of happiness. Then you start thinking about the next thing. डिक्की कौन खोलेगा, ड्राइवर खोलेगा, मैं को जाके खोलूं. And then who all are traveling with me. You start counting your luggages. जो हमारे टोटल लगेजेस, कितने सारे लगेज उतरे हैं गाड़ी से. This counting of luggages continues throughout your travel, है ना. So this is what the author is suggesting. Yes sir, please go ahead.
See, I have been practicing on this book. So, what I'm doing, and touch wood and thank God, I'm succeeding in that. So, whenever I'm in a thinking zone, immediately I'm conscious that I'm in thinking zone, cut thinking, and I'm able to come out of that. So, like, I joined 3 years Jyotish course. I was in a transition, these practice areas is not fascinating to me. So I'm moving to, so earlier, a lot of thinking was happening. Is it right, wrong? Will it give money? And will be able to do this course? What shall I do now? So now, for last, thank to you, when we started this practice from 12th of January in the morning 6:45 group. So I'm cutting the code of thinking. So this my personal experience I wanted to share with everyone, and it is doable. And for this Friday session, I have now purchased all the books on thinking. I went to Amazon. So how many books are on thinking? And morning before starting the session, I was browsing through one book, Beyond Negative Thinking. No, sorry, Beyond Positive Thinking. Again, it is a best seller, Dr. Robert Anthony. And it was mentioning, various other things, as a man thinketh, law of attraction, and other things. So I raised my hand just to share my experience. It is doable, and I'm doing it. Touch wood. That's all.
Yes, thank you for sharing, sir. So exactly what you're saying is that the only difference is that when we go into those moments, we do not do it consciously. That's what the author is saying. So he's suggesting us to get into those conscious moments and observe that what you are doing on those times. Like with this paragraph, he's saying the more thinking we have going on, the higher the thoughtometer goes. And if we have enough thinking going on, it will go get into that red zone. This is when we feel extremely stressed, burned out, frustrated and angry. तो ये अगर आपके साथ कभी भी होता है तो now you know that what causes this state of mind. And then he says, if it is not the content, it is not the content of our thinking. हम क्या सोच रहे हैं वो जरूरी नहीं है that causes the stress, but that we are thinking. Period. It's not what you are thinking about. The process is what causing all those things. Yes, sir.
There was another thought, very important, I felt. See, I was joining every course. Any teacher announcing some course, I was joining. Now, another book, Deep Work. Now, I have cut off myself, even where I have paid. I'm saying, I have told them I am deferring for 3 months. Like I joined some Vastu course and now focusing on one or two things. So that is also helping in, that thinking cut off. So I thought, let me share my that experience also. I have exited more than 30 groups which were not relevant, not adding value. But I was just continuing कि कभी कोई important अच्छा information आ जाएगा उसमें. और जब भी कोई क्लिक होता है, चलो 2 बजे बुक रीडिंग है, 4 बजे बुक रीडिंग है, ये एलओए का सेशन है, तो माइंड इतना ज्यादा डाइवर्ट और फ्लक्चुएट होता है. तो that is another thing. So therefore I said let me share that also. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Rajeshwari, can you talk now? Are you ready?
Yes, sir. So whatever I heard from you and Rajkumar sir, what I understood that is it possible for me to control my thinking? So as a child we are blessed with, or as a human we are blessed with this blissful joy and all that feeling. I too was recalling the happy moments of my life, trying to do just now also. So at that time, I was happy and all that. But when a thought comes, as Rajkumar sir mentioned, ki whether I will be able to do that or not, means when I start analyzing on that. So means I'm just sharing the incident of this Swasati Puja only. Means now, if I have taken a leave on Saturday, I could have enjoyed 4 days of holidays with my family. I can go on a trip, but I was not determined that I could take the leave from my principal sir. So many thoughts went, how I will enter, what he will say. So many things are going in the school. So as I overthinked somewhere, I got paralyzed. So that this is a real experience I'm telling. I have never thought. I have just taken the decision in my life. But as the moment this thought came, how I will take the leave, whether it will be good or not, somehow that gave me more thoughts, and fear came in my mind, and I couldn't take the leave and I couldn't enjoy. So, yeah, on this Friday session also, Rajkumar sir shared that whenever the thought you have taken, now no need to think, just be in the conscious moment and just give the command. Yes, this thought came, I will work on that. So, what I feel and what I understood, and with the real experience that I have gone through, because of thinking more on the thought or the idea that came in my mind, whether it will happen or not, what the consequences, what the pros and cons, make a person paralyzed. That I could understand. And now I'm not going to think more. And just I will be thinking whether this is good for me, what I can do or not. Means some analysis I will do. If I get more points in benefit, I will just carry on as I
Thank you
did
so
earlier
much
in
for
my life.
sharing, Rajeshwari. In fact, I go through this state every Sunday at 6:30. 6 बजे मेरा alarm on हो जाता है, and from that moment I was very excited. I will be reading together. But then I start thinking, अभी अभी से लेके 6:30 तक मैं क्या क्या करने वाला हूँ. And I go through all those emotions. Okay, let's go ahead with chapter 6. Yes, Mangala ma'am, please go ahead.
Chapter 6: How the Human Experience is Created. The Three Principles. If the only thing people learned was not to be afraid of the experience, that alone would change the world. Sydney Banks. At its fundamental level, the human experience is created by these three principles: universal mind, consciousness, and thought. These three principles work together to allow us to experience everything we do in life. And if one of the three is missing, we wouldn't be able to experience anything. These principles were first discovered by Sydney Banks, and now I have the humbling privilege to share them with you. Understanding these three principles enables us to know how we can alleviate ourselves from our suffering, but also allows us to create from source. Universal mind. Thank you. Do you want me to continue? I can.
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Universal mind is the intelligence behind all living things. It is the life force and energy that is in all things. It is how an acorn knows how to grow into a tree, how the plants know how to stay in orbit, planets know how to stay in orbit, and how our bodies know how to heal itself when we get a cut. It's how our bodies know how to self regulate and keep us alive without us having to manually do everything like breathing and beating our heart. The intelligence that grows how to do all of this and is in all things is called the universal mind. Many people call this God, infinite intelligence, the quantum field, source, and other names. This is where thoughts come from, as well as everything else in the universe. All things are connected by the universal mind. There is no separation between anything, and anytime there seems to be separation between things, it is merely an illusion of our thinking. When we are connected to the universal mind, we feel whole, fulfilled, filled with love, joy, peace, and inspiration. It is only when we begin thinking, believing the illusion or ego, that we block this flow of universal mind and begin to feel separated, frustrated, lonely, angry, resentful, sad, depressed, and fearful. Universal consciousness. Universal consciousness is the collective consciousness of all things. It is what allows us to be aware that we exist and aware of our thoughts. Without universal consciousness, we wouldn't be able to experience anything. Our five senses would have no use because there's nothing to be aware of. This is what brings things to life and makes them perceivable to us. Universal thought. Universal thought is the raw material of the universe from which we can create from. It is our ability to think and create form from the energy of the universal mind. It is the object we can perceive through consciousness. Without thought, we would have nothing to be aware of. Thought is like the DVD that contains all the information for us to be able to watch the movie on the TV. The TV and the DVD player is like consciousness. It allows us to have a mechanism to bring the information on the DVD to life before us, to be able to watch and experience the movie. The electricity that needed to power the DVD player and the TV is like the universal mind in the sense that it is the invisible energy or force that connects and powers all things. It is the source from which everything can work and function. oceanpdf.com. Thank you. It needs second reading, I think, it's
Yes,
these
yes, that's
thoughts
why I
are
allowed you to read.
these thoughts are so fundamental, deep that I think we need to really understand what he means by the universal mind and the universal consciousness. I don't mind reading it again, can I?
Now let somebody else read.
Okay.
I would like
Whoever reads it, read paragraph by paragraph. Okay, actually read paragraph by paragraph. Let's read a paragraph and then we have a quick discussion, then move to the next paragraph like that. Yes, sir, you can go ahead, Dr. Raj. Sir, if you're reading, then we can't hear you. You need to unmute yourself. Okay, Nilesh, आप पढ़िए.
At its fundamental level, the human experience is created by these three principles: universal mind, consciousness, and thought. These three principles work together to allow us to experience everything we do in life. And if one of the three is missing, we would not be able to experience anything. These principles were first discovered by Sydney Banks, and now I have the humbling privilege to share them with you. Understanding these three principles enables us to know how we can alleviate ourselves from our suffering, but also allows us to create from source. Universal mind. Universal mind is the intelligence behind all living things. It is the life force and energy that is in all things. It is how an acorn knows how to grow into a tree, how the planet know how to stay in orbit, and how our bodies know how to heal itself when we get a cut. It's how our bodies know how to self-regulate and keep us alive without us having to manually to do everything like breathing and beating our heart. The intelligence that knows how to do all of these and is in all things is called the universal mind. Many people call this God, infinite intelligence, the quantum field, source, and other names. This is where thoughts come from, as well as everything else in the universe. All things are connected by universal mind. There is no separation between anything, and anytime there seems to be separation between things, it is merely an illusion of our thinking. When we are connected to universal mind, we feel whole, fulfilled, filled with joy, love, peace, and inspiration. It is only when we begin thinking, believing the illusion or ego, that we block this flow of universal mind and begin to feel separated, frustrated, lonely, angry, resentful, sad, depressed, and fearful.
Hmm. So you can share your insights from here.
Yeah, it is a universal mind that many things happens automatically. We need not to do anything. Like if we get any cut, our body heals it by default, or trees do their work, and rivers uh, flows, and all these things happen by the universal mind. This way we should connect our thinking with the universal mind. Then only we can feel joyful, love, and peaceful.
हम्म. आपको क्या लगता है ऐसा ही होता है लाइफ में?
नहीं, कभी कभी हम इससे उल्टा सोचते हैं, इसीलिए हम फ्रस्ट्रेटेड और डिप्रेस हो जाते हैं
आपको लगता
समथिंग।
है ऐसा ही है कि जब भी आप फ्रस्ट्रेटेड होते हैं, लोनली फील करते हैं, सेपरेटेड फील करते हैं, गुस्सा होते हैं, दुखी होते हैं, डिप्रेस फील करते हैं, फियरफुल फील करते हैं, तब ऐसा ही होता है?
यस, हम बिल्कुल यूनिवर्सल माइंड से रिवर्स थिंकिंग करते हैं, इसीलिए ये सब हो सकता है। कि सपोज हमको कुछ कट हो गया, बॉडी में कुछ कट हुआ, अगर हम उसके बारे में बार बार अगर हम सोचते रहेंगे इसका क्या होगा, ये ठीक होगा कि नहीं होगा, तो हम फ्रस्ट्रेटेड हो जाएंगे। बट बाय यूनिवर्सल mind, by default it will get healed by automatic. No need to worry about that.
यूनिवर्सल माइंड का एक बहुत अ, सुंदर एक्सपीरियंस मैं आपको आपके साथ शेयर कर सकता हूँ। यू जस्ट थिंक अबाउट दिस कि जब हड्डियां टूटते हैं ना, तो उसका कोई दवाई नहीं होता। जब बोन ब्रेक हो जाता है, उसका कोई दवाई नहीं है। द ओनली थिंग द ओनली वे द ओनली थिंग प्रोबब्ली द डॉक्टर्स कैन डू इज टू सेट द बोन। वो जो दोनों पार्ट है उनको ऐसी तरीके से सेट करना जैसे वो ओरिजिनली थे। यू कांट पुट अ ग्लू। ऐसा कोई ग्लू नहीं है जिसको आप लगा सकते हैं। ज्यादा से ज्यादा आप एक स्टील का प्लेट लगा सकते हैं, but the whole objective is to put those two parts of that broken bone together in the way they were originally. बस इतना ही वो कर सकते हैं। सर्जरी भी जब करते हैं इतना ही करते हैं। वो बोन जब एक दूसरे से जुड़ता है ना, बिल्कुल वैसे ही जुड़ता है जैसे यहाँ पे बोला जा रहा है, दैट यूनिवर्सल माइंड। वहां पे जो सेल्स है, बोन के जो सेल्स है, उसको पता है कि करना क्या है इसको जोड़ने के लिए। कितना कैल्शियम लाना है, कितना विटामिन डी लाना है, कितना मैग्नीशियम लाना है, वो सारा वो ब्लड से खींच लेता है ऑटोमेटिकली। दिस इज हाउ ब्यूटीफुली दिस यूनिवर्सल माइंड वर्क्स। क्योंकि सब कुछ ब्लड में ही फ्लो हो रहा है। कैल्शियम भी ब्लड में फ्लो हो रहा है, मैग्नीशियम भी ब्लड में फ्लो हो रहा है, ग्लूकोसामिन भी ब्लड में ही फ्लो हो रहा है, और विटामिन डी, मैग्नीशियम, ये सब ब्लड में ही फ्लो हो रहा है। वो खाली वहां से खींच के उसको सेट कर देता है। और जब वो जोड़ लग जाता है, इट एक्चुअली वर्क्स लाइक एन ओरिजिनल बोन एज इट वाज, है ना।
Yes,
और
yes.
मजे की बात है, इसको होने में मोरलेस 90 डेज टाइम लगता है। और उसको स्ट्रेंथन में, मतलब उसको वही मजबूती लाने में अनदर 90 डेज का टाइम लगता है। दैट्स इट। आफ्टर दैट अगर उसका एक्सरे भी लिया जाए तो पता नहीं चलेगा ये यहाँ से टूटा था। So this is what universal mind is all about. It knows what to do, when to do, how to do. So यहाँ पे इन्होंने बहुत सुंदर बोला कि इट इज ओनली when we begin thinking, believing the illusion or ego, मतलब उस टाइम पे जो भी हमें सच लग रहा है उसको बिलीव करते हैं। कि किसी ने आपको बोल दिया कि अरे यार अगर अभी तुम कैल्शियम सप्लीमेंट नहीं खाओगे तुम्हारा हड्डी नहीं जुड़ेगा। एंड देन यू आर वंडरिंग, ओ माय गॉड, अब कैल्शियम सप्लीमेंट नहीं खाऊंगा तो क्या होगा, चलो कैल्शियम सप्लीमेंट खाना शुरू करो, विटामिन डी लेना शुरू करो। ये आपका थिंकिंग है। दैट इज इम्पैक्टिंग, है ना। तो हाँ, इफ यू टेक सप्लीमेंट्स तो वो प्रोसेस फास्ट हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ब्लड में क्वांटिटी बढ़ जाएगा तो आपका जो सिस्टम है वो ब्लड से ज्यादा खींच पाएगा। वो रिपेयरिंग प्रोसेस थोड़ा सा फास्ट हो जाएगा, लेकिन मोरलेस टाइम उतना ही लगेगा। सो ये जितने भी सप्लीमेंट्स की कहानी है, इसका मेन पर्पस ये है कि ब्लड में उन सारे जो विटामिन है, मिनरल्स हैं, उसकी क्वांटिटी मेंटेन होना चाहिए। ब्लड में वो मेंटेन होना चाहिए। ब्लड में मेंटेन होगा तो बाकी काम बॉडी कर लेगा। So this is what we author is talking about, that it is only when we begin thinking that we block this flow of universal mind and begin to feel separated, frustrated, lonely, angry, resentful, sad, depressed, fearful। ये सब कहानी तभी होता है जब इसके बारे में सोचते रहते हैं। You know, I can share one experience। चल बाद में शेयर करते हैं। Let us read further। Yes, Rajeshwar, would you like to go ahead with universal consciousness and then universal thought?
Yes, sir. Universal consciousness. Universal consciousness is the collective consciousness of all things. It is what allows us to be aware that we exist and aware of our thoughts. Without universal consciousness, we would not be able to experience anything. Our five senses would have no use because there's nothing to be aware of. This is what brings things to life and make them perceivable to us. Universal thought.
Wait,
Universal
wait, wait,
thought.
wait, यहाँ पे रुकिए। So now you get a sense of what universal consciousness is। पहला समझ में आ गया यूनिवर्सल माइंड क्या
Yes, sir.
है ना। Now to get access to that universal mind, you need the universal consciousness।
Hmm.
तो कुदरत ने क्या किया, कुदरत ने हमें 5 ऑर्गन्स दिए हैं, 5 सेंसेस दिए हैं। ऑर्गन्स नहीं, सेंसेस। एंड these 5 senses are what allows us to get access to that universal mind। इसको बोला जा रहा है यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस। इट्स अ कलेक्टिव कॉन्शियसनेस ऑफ ऑल थिंग्स। It is what allows us to be aware that we exist and aware of our thoughts। So it is only because of that we can identify कि हम, it is just a thought or I'm thinking about it। Without universal consciousness, we wouldn't be able to experience anything। तो हमारे जो 5 सेंसेस है, अगर ये हमारे पास होगा ही नहीं तो हमें कैसे पता चलेगा? How do we connect to this universal mind? How would we will know that something like this exists? हमारे फाइव सेंस काम नहीं करेंगे, देन नथिंग वी विल बी अवेयर ऑफ. तो जब लोग कोमा में चले जाते हैं ऐसा ही होता है. बॉडी है लेकिन उसका फाइव सेंस काम नहीं कर रहा. इसे तो पता तक नहीं कि आसपास क्या हो रहा है. इन बॉडी अपने हिसाब से चलता रहता है. दैट इज व्हाई द हार्ट इज पंपिंग, द स्टमक इज वर्किंग, the lungs are working. The person is only into coma, state of coma. That's it. But he's still alive. So person who is in coma is alive because the universal mind is working. खाली उसका सेंसेस काम नहीं करे, उसको पता तक नहीं कि वो जिंदा भी है भी या नहीं. So that is what brings things to life and makes them perceivable to us. It is only because of our five senses. इसीलिए लुई है बोलते हैं कि सुबह उठ के अपने जो पांचों सेंस है उसके लिए ग्रेटिट्यूड एक्सप्रेस करो गॉड को. गॉड क्या है? गॉड वही यूनिवर्सल माइंड है. So get up in the morning and express your gratitude that all my five senses are working. And I can see, I can hear, I can feel. Good. Let's go ahead and read the next. Yes, Rajeshwari. Universal thought. So we distinguished what universal mind is, we distinguished what universal consciousness is, and we are talking about the third thing, which is universal thought.
Universal thought is the raw material of the universe from which we can create form. It is our ability to think and create form from the energy of the universal mind. It's the object we can perceive through consciousness. Without thought, we would have nothing to be aware of. Thought is like the DVD that contains all the information for us to be able to watch the movie on the TV. The TV and DVD player is like consciousness. It allows us to have a mechanism to bring the information on the DVD to life for us to be able to watch and experience the movie. The electricity that needed to power the DVD player and TV is like universal mind in the sense that it is the invisible energy force that connects and powers all things. It is the source from which everything can work and function.
Hmm. So what comes to your mind?
So in my mind comes suppose if some thought came of a trip in my mind of any place. So how I see the things. That thought came. Now I search for the picture. So from the universe, I'm creating that form or of any material thing also. Suppose I want a bracelet, gold bracelet or whatever. It that thought came in the mind, that picture came, then I applied how I will get it, whom I should ask, where from which shop I will take. So I'm getting such connectivity, what I felt just now.
Hmm. Okay. What about this example that Joseph has shared?
It's the object we can perceive through consciousness. Without thought we would have nothing to be aware of. Thought is like the DVD that contains all the information for us to be able to watch the movie on the TV.
It's like a book, the one which is we are reading right now.
Hmm.
It contains all the information for us to be able to watch the movie, to be able to get the sense of what this book is all about. Say, as a story. So you are reading a story. So the where that story is written is the source, which contains all the information about that story that you can read. Now for that we need a TV and a DVD player. इसको कह रहा है consciousness. The thought is on the TV, on the DVD. The consciousness is in the TV and the DVD player. The two technical uh, instruments. एक उस DVD player से DVD player से data read करेगा, और then it will pass it on to the TV, and the TV will show it to you. क्योंकि उस DVD को देख के तो आपको स्टोरी नहीं दिखेगा, मूवी नहीं दिखेगा, है ना? So the DVD player and the TV are the consciousness which can read the message which is there on the DVD. And then the electricity is what? Is that which is needed to power the DVD player and the TV. Electricity have a universal mind. वो हमारे कंट्रोल में नहीं है. It is there, already there. Hasn't? So just stay with this thought, and you can actually connect with many events in your life this way.
Sir, can you briefly once again explain the universal mind, consciousness, and the thought in a simple way so that I can?
Okay, universal mind is like as I shared this story of how a bone when it breaks, वो जुड़ जाता है.
Yes, sir.
है ना? वो हो गया यूनिवर्सल माइंड. तो वहां पे आपको कुछ करना नहीं, आपको खाली दोनों बोन्स को जैसे ओरिजिनली था बिल्कुल उसमें उसी तरीके से उसको सेट करना है. जोड़ने का काम यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस करेगा. ठीक है ना? सॉरी, यूनिवर्सल माइंड करेगा. जोड़ने का काम यूनिवर्सल माइंड कर रहा है. उसको पता है कि कहाँ से क्या इंफॉर्मेशन उठाना है, कहाँ से क्या मिनरल उठाना है, कहाँ से क्या न्यूट्रिशन उठाना है, टू मेक श्योर दैट both those pieces of the bone get joined. तो ये हो गया यूनिवर्सल माइंड का काम. यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस क्या है? टू एक्सेस दैट. कि हाँ, यूनिवर्सल माइंड एग्जिस्ट करता है, हमारा खाली काम है इन दोनों को जोड़ देना. यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस इज टेलिंग यू कि यू जस्ट नीड टू पुट दोस टू बोन पीसेस एग्जैक्टली द वे दे वेर. अगर आप उसको एग्जैक्ट वे में नहीं रखेंगे तो भी वो जुड़ेगा, बट वो फिर तरीके से नहीं जुड़ेगा, वो अपना वो रख के जोड़ेगा, रख देगा. सो यू आर टेकिंग दोस टू बोन पीसेस, उसको आपने बिल्कुल उसी तरीके से सेट कर दे जैसे ओरिजिनली थे. So this is the universal consciousness. And then the thought. Without thought, we would have nothing to be aware of. अब देखिए, जब ये कांड होता है, जब वो दोनों बोन्स को सेट किया जाता है, देन आपको एनेस्थाइज किया जाता है. जब भी कोई सर्जरी होता है, आपको क्यों एनेस्थेटिक दिया जाता है? So that your thinking part of the brain doesn't work. इसलिए you don't feel the pain.
Yes.
है ना? So you are given anesthesia, whether it is local or whether it is complete anesthesia. It is being given only to ensure that you cannot think about what is happening right now. आपके बॉडी को सोचने का मौका ही नहीं दिया. Now when your consciousness comes back, you can feel the pain. क्या मेरा हड्डी टूट गया था, अभी वहां पे दर्द हो रहा है. उसको भी दबाने के लिए आपको पेन किलर्स दिया जाता है.
Anesthesia stops thinking or feeling.
थिंकिंग स्टॉप कर देगा. मैं आपको पता ही नहीं चल रहा अब हो क्या रहा. You don't even know what is happening. Then how will you think? If you cannot think, you can't even feel anyway. Feelings are outcomes of thinking. So we can take this example जो ऑथर ने यहाँ पे दिया है कि डीवीडी में सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है. The entire movie is there on the DVD, but you can't see it unless you have the right instruments. So the DVD contains the thought. उस thought को Analyze करने के लिए we need the consciousness, and this TV and the DVD player is working like that consciousness. They are working together to connect with the information which is there on the DVD. तो डीवीडी प्लेयर का काम है वहां से उस डेटा को रीड करना, करके उसको इमेज और साउंड में कन्वर्ट करना, एंड देन टीवी का काम है वही सिग्नल उठाना of that image and sound, then display it on the screen. And to do all these things, you need electricity, because without electricity, even these are dead. They are of no use. And electricity is that universal mind. वो होना चाहिए, वो है तो वो कॉन्शियसनेस को काम करने देगा, और कॉन्शियसनेस अगर काम करेगा तो जो भी वो थॉट है उसको आप रीड कर सकते हैं. Universal mind is that invisible energy which you can't see. You can hardly experience that shit. जैसे I was talking about, आप सोचो ना, the moment you got pregnant, उसके बाद did you do anything with that? उस सेल को कैसे जाइगोट में कन्वर्ट करना है, जाइगोट को कैसे वहां पे एक हार्ट बनाना है, उस हार्ट से ब्लड सप्लाई शुरू होगा, उसके बाद ब्रेन बनेगा, फिर ब्रेन में ब्लड सप्लाई शुरू होगा, उसके बाद एक एक करके ऑर्गन बनेगा. ये आपके हाथ में थोड़ी है. दिस इज द यूनिवर्सल माइंड. इट नोज व्हाट टू डू. दैट्स हाउ अ सीड कन्वर्ट्स इनटू अ ट्री. तो सारे इंफॉर्मेशन सीड के अंदर है, but it still need that water, it still need that air, it still need that light. Unless you provide that water, sunlight, and the soil, that seed will not come up. It will not. It उसके अंदर का जो इंफॉर्मेशन वो बाहर आएगा ही नहीं, वो स्प्राउट होगा ही नहीं. And this sprouting is happening because of that conscious mind. उसके अंदर का जो conscious mind है वो तभी sprout करेगा when it will get in touch with the conscious uh, thoughts or universal consciousness. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
नहीं, मुझे ये थॉट आया, ये चैप्टर का अभी थॉट आया, ये जो यूनिवर्सल माइंड, यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस और यूनिवर्सल थॉट, एक तो इसको याद हम CMT, चीफ मिनिस्टर टेरिफिक. दूसरा मुझे ये ख्याल आया कि ये तीनों स्पिरिचुअलिज्म डोमेन में है, भगवान के डोमेन में है, ऑल माइटी. मैं अभी एक दूसरी स्टडी भी कर रहा हूँ. सारे रिलीजन्स, क्रिश्चियनिटी, जुइज्म, सिखिज्म, सब में देयर इज अ सुप्रीम पावर. सिख में वाहे गुरु बोलते हैं, अल्लाह बोलते हैं, और अब्राहम था जो इस्लामिक और जुडाइज्म और क्रिश्चियनिटी का पहला फिलोसफर था या मैसेंजर था. तो ये जब हम बोलते हैं ना, जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि भगवान करेगा, मतलब हम जब बोलना शुरू कर देते हैं ना, तो मेरा ये शेयरिंग में स्टॉप करता हूँ कि भाई जब हम डेस्टिनी पे ये सब चीजें छोड़ देते हैं ना, सुप्रीम कॉन्शियस, सुप्रीम पावर पे, तो सुप्रीम पावर भी हमारे जैसा व्यक्ति है जिसका माइंड है और जिसका कॉन्शियसनेस है और जिसका ये थॉट है ना, क्या टी का क्या है?
Universal consciousness, universal mind, universal thought. Yes.
हाँ, तो ये भी एक मतलब मैं भी इसको एक्सपीरियंस कर रहा हूँ. मैं स्पिरिचुअलिज्म में ज्यादा पढ़ रहा हूँ, तो ये मेरा शेयरिंग में करना चाह रहा था कि दैट इज अ, मतलब अ ग्रेट एक्सपीरियंस. इट इज एन इंडिविजुअल डिसीजन. थैंक यू.
Yes. Anybody would like to add anything to this? So this is how this author started this paragraph. At its fundamental level, the human experience is created by these three principles: universal mind, universal consciousness, and universal thought. Whether this distinguishes that you are a human being. बाकी एनिमल्स को तो पता तक नहीं कि वो है क्या. कम से कम हमें पता है कि हम क्या है. So these three principles work together to allow us to experience everything we do in life. And if one of the three is missing, we wouldn't be able to experience anything. मतलब हमारे पास डीवीडी है लेकिन डीवीडी प्लेयर नहीं है, तो फिर टीवी होने का कोई मतलब ही नहीं. आई कैनॉट वॉच दैट डीवीडी, द मूवी ऑन दैट डीवीडी. दोनों ही है लेकिन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं है. इवन देन आई कैनॉट वॉच दैट मूवी. और सब कुछ है, अगर डीवीडी खराब है तो भी वी कैनॉट वॉच दैट मूवी. So all the three things are required to experience everything we do in life. So let's close the session. Let's
Yeah.
stay with these wonderful thoughts and थोड़ा सा explore करते हैं throughout the week. Join us in the morning session at 6:45 for 15 minutes and let's discover who
Yeah.
we are.
Thank you.
एक लास्ट थॉट मैं देना चाह रहा था. ये चैप्टर नंबर 6 है, तो न्यूमरोलॉजी में 6 नंबर वीनस का है. इट इज अ गुरु शुक्राचार्य, दो इज गुरु ऑफ असुरा, बट इट्स अ पावरफुल नंबर. So it aligns with CMT, universal consciousness, universal mind, and universal thought. Thank you.